Hi, honest discussioner here. I just want to thank everyone who commented on the last video, although I have to say, there were a lot of atheists that were disagreeing with me, and just have to say, that was friggin' awesome! I don't get to disagree with atheists and have meaningful, logical discussions without my immortal soul being on the line. It was really great. Do it more often. Seriously. If you tell me I'm wrong, I actually kind of like it. I want to have the debate and the intellectual mind struggle, whatever you want to call it. Now on to the topic at hand. I have a little bit of bad news. Apparently that's going to have to be my last atheist to atheist discussion I'm ever going to have, because I now have to accept that hell is real, and since hell is real, that Jesus Christ is, the one and only Son of God, and that the Bible is 100% true. I have to contend this now because someone sent me ultimate proof of hell's existence in the form of a woman named, I believe, Mary K. Baxter, or MKB for short. Miss Baxter, or Mrs. Baxter possibly even, went to hell for 30 nights in a row. She was brought by Jesus to be shown hell so that she can write a book about it, and then later apparently also was taken into heaven for 10 straight nights in a row. And apparently Jesus wanted her to write all of this stuff down and sell it to everyone, and it's because there's apparently a lot of lost souls out there and they needed to hear this message. A YouTuber by the name of, I believe, Christ's Army 777, and this was a really interesting discussion, sent me this as proof. Apparently not knowing that, atheists don't really take eyewitness testimony of supernatural events as proof of supernatural events, because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Yeah, this was an interesting discussion. What happened is that he said that there is proof that hell exists and that this woman went there, and he asked me to please read the first chapter of her book and give him my thoughts. And I said, fine, I'll do that if you watch my video on hell, which I rather like doing. And he said, deal. He agreed to it. And I did read the chapter. And he said he watched the video, and I said, okay, well, what were your thoughts on it? He said, well, I want to hear yours first. So I wrote him a very long response. I think it was over 7,000 characters, including spaces. And after 2 days' time, and no response on his end, he sent me less than 500 characters worth of just saying that I need to wake up because he sent me proof, because she says she went to hell. I would facepalm right now, really, but I'd hurt myself. The fact that I'm actually kind of happy this happened, because this book is great material. I'm going to link it in the sidebar. She sold a lot. Apparently, you can also read it. I think you're supposed to read it and then buy it for all your family members. But what happened here is that I agreed to a deal, he agreed to the deal, and at least so far, the atheist was the more moral of the two, holding up his end of the bargain, and the Christian did not. In fact, of the 460 characters he wrote back to me, he didn't actually address a single point I made, just asserted that was it. You can actually, I put up the exchange, or part of it, up on honestdiscussioner.com on the latest discussion, link in the sidebar. It was really just very interesting. I'll go over some of the points, but you really need to. Apparently, according to Miss Baxter, or Mrs. Baxter, hell actually is literally in the center of the earth. She was just sitting there praying one night, and a big light shone in, and Jesus said, "Hi, how you doing? I'm going to take you to hell for a couple of nights, and I want you to write a book." So she does. So he does. And apparently, what I remember, she describes that she was up really high in the clouds, and she looks down, and there's all these like sturdy coils, which Jesus tells her are portals to hell. Now, apparently, hell is shaped like a human being. There's a left leg, there's a right leg, and it's all within the center of the earth. And in fact, another part says that when you die, demons will literally chain your body and drag you through these portals to hell. The thing is, more recently, more modern Christians, more philosophical Christians, smarter Christians, have gone with the idea that hell isn't really literal fire and brimstone like Mary K. Baxter, MKB, asserts. They assert more a separation from God. There's no actual literal fire because there's no literal body. And this buys them a little bit of time before you can actually logically show that that aspect isn't really true. But the issue here is that, according to MKB, we have all of our senses in hell. Our smell, she said she smelled lots of death in hell. She could hear, see, taste, touch. It's interesting because if the spiritual realm has these things, then the sense of taste had to exist before before Earth was created, before physical reality was really created. And I don't really see a purpose in that. In any of maybe sight and hearing, but I would think in a metaphysical world you wouldn't have such a limited senses. We wouldn't be bound to those types of perceptions if we really were a transcendent being, not bound to mortal flesh. But I'm going to be reading this book a little bit more. I originally thought I was wasting my time when the guy wasn't responding, but this is some really good material. Read the discussion if you get a chance. I go over it a little more. Oh, I do want to mention, her book, apparently she calls it a bestseller. I haven't really looked at the statistics yet, but yes, she's written, I think, 5 or 6 books. A Divine Revelation of Hell, a Divine Revelation of Heaven, Divine Revelation of Angels, Divine Revelation of Spiritual Warfare, and I think the true power and of healing that's found in blood, such as the blood of Jesus and sacrificial blood. It's interesting because if this woman was the real deal, she would be a more important figure to Christianity than anyone but Jesus. She would be more important than Paul or any of the apostles because she's getting revelations far more detailed than anything Paul ever received, far more detailed than anything in Revelations. Yet, this is the first I've heard of her. I would think the Christians, having that great of a prophet alive here today that we can talk to, I'm surprised she's not a little more popular, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, have a nice day. Honest Discussioner, out.